I make my own decisions. Garnacho declares desire to join Chelsea after Club World Cup victory over PSG. In a twist that has sent ripples through the English football landscape, Alejandro Garnacho, the 20-year-old Argentine winger hailed as one of Manchester United's brightest young stars, has publicly expressed a desire to join Chelsea on loan. The statement came just days after Chelsea's stunning triumph over Paris Saint-Germain in the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup, held in the United States. In front of reporters, Garnacho did not mince words, proclaiming, "I make my own decisions," a phrase that instantly made headlines and ignited debates among fans and pundits alike. For many, the timing and bluntness of Garnacho's remarks are as intriguing as the sentiment itself. His statement comes at the end of what can only be described as a nightmare season for Manchester United, a campaign so disjointed and underwhelming that it has left the club in a state of crisis. A season to forget at Old Trafford. The 2024-25 season began with cautious optimism at Manchester United. Ruben Amorim, a tactically astute coach with a reputation for developing young talent, had been brought in from Sporting CP to replace Erik ten Hag. Expectations were high that he would inject fresh ideas, modern pressing schemes, and a renewed identity into a side that had grown stale. Those hopes quickly began to unravel. United's form collapsed early in the season, and injuries to key players further destabilized the squad. Despite flashes of brilliance from individual talents, including Garnacho, the team's overall cohesion was lacking. Defensive frailties were exposed repeatedly, midfield creativity was inconsistent, and the attack often looked blunt against well-organized opponents. By mid-season, it became clear that top four ambitions were unrealistic. A string of winless matches plunged the club into the bottom half of the table. When the Premier League season concluded, United found themselves in 16th place, their lowest finish in decades. The humiliation did not stop there. In Europe, United reached the Europa League final, offering a glimmer of hope for silverware and redemption. But that hope was dashed by bitter rivals Tottenham Hotspur, who clinched a 1-0 victory in a tense, nervy affair. The loss left fans deflated and players visibly shaken. For Garnacho, who had worked tirelessly to become a regular starter, the season's failures were a bitter pill to swallow. The making of a stubborn competitor. Garnacho's personality has always been defined by fierce self-belief. Those close to him describe him as headstrong, sometimes to the point of stubbornness, but also deeply driven. That streak of independence has been visible in his style of play, bold dribbles, fearless one-on-one challenges, and a refusal to hide in big moments. When asked about the possibility of staying at United to help with the rebuild, Garnacho was polite but direct. "I've watched Chelsea play, and I admire their style," he said. "Their victory over PSG in the Club World Cup was impressive. I want to be part of a winning team, and right now, that looks like Chelsea." In one sense, this is simply the mindset of a young player unwilling to let his career stagnate. In another, it is a bold public signal that he is prepared to defy expectations, and perhaps even management, to pursue the environment he believes will allow him to grow. Chelsea's rising pull. Chelsea's win over PSG in the Club World Cup was more than just another trophy, it was a statement of intent. Under their own relatively new management structure, the London club has blended seasoned international players with an ambitious crop of young signings. The result has been a side capable of competing for silverware while playing an attractive brand of attacking football. The appeal for Garnacho is obvious. Chelsea's tactical setup often favors wide attackers with pace, flair, and directness, qualities he has in abundance. At Stamford Bridge, he could potentially thrive in a system that encourages creativity while still maintaining the structure needed to compete on multiple fronts. Additionally, Chelsea's return to form means regular appearances in the Champions League, something Manchester United cannot offer at present. For a player who measures himself against the best, the prospect of facing Europe's elite is enticing. A club in transition. Meanwhile, at Old Trafford, Ruben Amorim faces the daunting task of rebuilding a fractured squad. His plans are already in motion. Striker Rasmus Højlund is heading to AC Milan on loan, while Marcus Rashford has secured a temporary switch to Barcelona. Amorim's public comments have been measured but firm. "We need to shake things up. Our fans deserve better, and we're committed to delivering that." Part of that shake-up could include allowing Garnacho to leave temporarily. While losing another young star might alarm some supporters, Amorim could view the loan as an opportunity for the winger to develop further before returning as a more mature, battle-hardened player. The fans' mixed verdict. The reaction among Manchester United supporters has been far from uniform. A segment of the fanbase is dismayed at the thought of Garnacho wearing Chelsea blue, interpreting his comments as disloyal at a time when the club needs unity. For these fans, sending him to a Premier League rival risks strengthening an opponent while weakening United further. Others take a more pragmatic view. If Chelsea can give him the minutes and the platform to improve, then maybe this is a smart move in the long term, one season ticket holder commented. But it depends on whether United reinvest wisely. We can't afford to just let talent walk out without replacing it. The broader trend in modern football. Garnacho's stance also speaks to a wider trend in the modern game. Young players are increasingly willing to take their futures into their own hands. The days when a talented prospect would simply accept a bench role for years, waiting for their turn, are fading. Instead, players, often guided by savvy agents, seek the best pathways for development, even if that means moving away from their boyhood clubs or current employers. This mindset is not without its risks. For Garnacho, a loan to Chelsea could bring the challenge and exposure he craves, but it also means stepping into a dressing room with its own fierce competition for places. Success is far from guaranteed, and any dip in form could see him relegated to the sidelines. The decision ahead. As the summer transfer window draws nearer, negotiations between the two clubs are expected to intensify. Chelsea's interest is genuine, and Garnacho's public comments have only fueled speculation that a deal is possible. Manchester United, however, hold the contractual leverage, and their willingness to sanction such a move will depend heavily on Amorim's broader transfer strategy. For Garnacho, the coming weeks will be pivotal. Choosing Chelsea could align with his short-term ambition to compete for trophies and sharpen his game against elite competition. Staying at United, on the other hand, would test his patience but might eventually place him at the heart of a new project, one that could restore the club's status if Amorim's vision takes hold. A defining statement. In the end, Garnacho's simple yet forceful declaration, "I make my own decisions," may come to define this chapter of his career. It encapsulates the self-determination of a new generation of footballers, unafraid to prioritize personal development and competitive aspirations over loyalty for loyalty's sake. Whether his next step takes him to Stamford Bridge or keeps him at Old Trafford, one thing is certain: Alejandro Garnacho is determined to chart his own course, even if it means challenging the status quo. For Manchester United, Chelsea, and the wider football world, the resolution of this saga will be a telling sign of how power dynamics between clubs and young stars continue to evolve in the modern era.